Doesn't have any powers. He doesn't have super strength or anything like that. He's just an amazing fighter.
You know what? It wouldn't have been such a terrible series if he wasn't such a wet wipe.
I hate him.
Enough.
So we've got like Marvel Zombies confirmed. On Earth, shaping its history and civilizations. I did not just read that off my screen. This is like the most ambitious solo superhero movie of all time.
Return of Toby and Andrew as their Spider-Mans. They're already teasers to a multiverse, so
he could be the right age now to be Miles Morales.
And then he's basically an unintentional teaser.
Gonna be like the first scary MCU movie. People are rumouring Tom Cruise being casted in this movie. Hopefully he doesn't lose the handle this time.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Motion Listener Podcast. My name's Elliot and I'm joined by Zach, and we're going to be talking about the Phase 4 slate for the MCU today.
Yes, we were originally going to do everything that they announced on that Disney Investors Day, but we soon realised that that was a lot. We're not really aiming for 2-hour long episodes, so we thought we'll just cover Phase 4 for now, or everything that's confirmed to be in Phase 4 anyway.
First thing in Phase 4 is WandaVision. We already did our little theory episode on that one. It's still on Disney Plus right now. We're on it'll be episode 7 on Friday, I think. 7
this week.
Yeah. Episode 7 of 9. So
it's weird to think this is the only one out, and it's probably the one we know least about.
Yeah, I was going to say, even at episode 6, we're still not sure where the hell it's going. Like,
I know.
There's so many different routes it could still take, and like you said, we're 3 episodes left.
It's like one plot point after another with that show. Whilst we're on it, what about the flipping Quicksilver turning up?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's pointing to Multiverse, but at the same time, It might not be Quicksilver. It might be Mephisto. We don't know who he actually is. So
I think it's Mephisto. I think things
so too.
Are pointing towards him being Mephisto. Just the things he says and how he avoids questions about him being Wanda's brother. Like, it's just the way he's acting. Just odd to me. Yeah. We'll find out how that ends up because we don't know anything at the minute.
No, I was going to say, like, we've got 3 episodes left of a 9-episode series, and we're still as clueless as we were in episode 1. Like, we really don't know what to expect.
What we do know is we do have another big cameo on the way, apparently, as well as this Evan Peters Quicksilver. Apparently, there's another big cameo coming, and we already know that this ties directly with Doctor Strange too. So
Doctor Strange cameo?
I think it's fair to say Doctor Strange might pop up at the end in some kind of way.
Now, I saw this, but I thought about it, and everybody's been saying that it's like Luke Skywalker, Mandalorian level cameo, and I really don't think Doctor Strange fits that bill. Not Luke Skywalker level, because if we already know that Doctor Strange and Wanda are in the Doctor Strange film, so I don't really think that's like like we didn't expect that at all. Whereas Luke Skywalker, I think, was a bit more, oh my god, like it's actually him.
Yeah.
But
it'll be cool to see Doctor Strange pop up, but I understand what you're saying. It's not that big Luke Skywalker reveal.
Yeah, I think that's
Evan Peters cameo was more that, and the fact that they're saying there's something as big as that. Like, I'm thinking like maybe we'll see another X-Men character, Fox X-Men character pop up.
Yeah,
and one that would make sense for like Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet, which could be Magneto.
Yeah, because obviously in an alternate universe, that's her father.
Yeah,
but that would be nice, but I think Doctor Strange is definitely the most likely. But from the fact that it said it's meant to be like a really like wow factor cameo, I don't think Doctor Strange really provides.
with media portraying it as that, you don't know if they're just saying that for the clicks.
Yeah, they're trying to get people to watch it, aren't they?
Yeah, because we're talking about it, so
Yeah.
it's doing the right thing.
Yeah, definitely. Right, so I think that's enough about WandaVision. Again, we can speculate all night if we wanted to, but
well, we'll have a full-length review of the whole thing when it's over. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
look out for that.
So next up, we've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I'm looking forward to this one.
That doesn't come out long after the last episode of one, like a week after, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it might be a week or 2 weeks.
So we'll be done with WandaVision, then straight away we'll have the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I was hoping that they'd have that throughout the year, so you're never short of something to watch. But then we've got like Black Widow coming straight after Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but that's not till May. So do we reckon that'll be the same?
I don't know. I think, like I said, we've got 10 different MCU properties coming out in like the next year, so I think you're just being greedy, to be honest.
I am being greedy, but we haven't had any. Like, I really wanted something to watch and to have something constantly to make up for the fact that we didn't really have anything last year.
I mean, considering we've gone from only 2 Marvel movies a year to now 10 properties of Marvel a year.
Yeah.
It's a massive change and step, so...
So I'm just being greedy.
Yeah.
Any idea of the premise of this Falcon and the Winter Soldier? We know it's set after Endgame.
Yeah, set after Endgame. It's like the aftermath of Steve Rogers stepping down as Captain America, and what would happen if that happened. And basically, I think the government get involved because technically, Captain America's shield is still the government's property because of the whole Civil War incident with the Sokovia Accords and all that. So I think in this, they pass the mantle of Captain America, the government to. They take it from Sam the Falcon and they give it to someone who doesn't fit the bill as Captain America or shouldn't.
Yeah.
And that's the US agent who's like a knockoff Captain America in the comics. So it'll make sense for that to be the same thing in this show.
Yeah.
And I think the story will basically be Falcon earning that Captain America title in a way.
Yeah. Or even it could even be the fact that he's trying to get that shield back. Maybe they took it off him, and obviously then it's a fight for him to get it back. I'm not really sure. Like you said, there's not.
Well, that's
really
what I mean. He's got a fight to get it back, so he's earning the title.
Yeah.
And the villain, Baron Zemo, is back from Civil War. That villain, he'll be wearing his actual like purple mask that he wore in the comics and that. So he won't just be a guy like he was in Civil War.
Yeah.
And there is rumours that Chris Evans is back in this, and it was recently confirmed that he has done like a new contract with Marvel, hasn't he? But this is after they filmed all this. But there are rumours that he'll be showing up in this. It would make sense if he did, but I think if he did, it'll be his old man Cap that we saw at the end of Endgame, and he'd almost be like a mentor figure.
Yeah, like advisory rather than yeah. I don't think there's much else more to say on that one. Like we're still kind of a bit shaky on the premise of it, but we've not got long to wait. Like it says March that it's coming out, so
I think it's going to be a lot of Sam and Bucky going freelance against the government in Captain America's name because they've took it at their own will and used it in a way that it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
I think that's what a lot of it will be.
Yeah, I agree. So we've got Black Widow next. Now this is a bit of the infamous film, I think, of Phase 4 because it was meant to come out. I think this was meant to kick off Phase 4, wasn't it?
It was meant to. The film we all forgot. It's basically set. Obviously, Black Widow's dead. Spoiler alert, in case you didn't know. But, this is basically a prequel set with Natasha in between Civil War and Infinity War and what she got up to.
Yeah,
in between that period, and it looks like she goes back to her origins, and we see new characters from the comics. like Red Guardian, I think his name is. Red Guardian was like the Russian version of Captain America.
Yeah.
So like the Russia's own like super soldier program, and the villain in it is going to be Taskmaster. Do you know who Taskmaster is?
He can basically like adapt to anybody's fighting style and basically mirror it, can't he? I'm guessing.
Pretty much, yeah. He can perfectly replicate anything his enemy does.
Yeah.
So I wonder I wonder if he could replicate the same movements Doctor Strange does, and he'd be able to do magic.
That is interesting.
Hey, that's only just clocked in my head.
Or is there, like you said, is there limitations to his powers so that it's only like a fighting style?
I don't think he'll be casting spells in this movie, but
no. Look, that's an interesting
movies. Thought.
Yeah,
I've never seen that for that character done before either. That won't happen in this movie. I know that won't happen in this movie, but that's just clocked in my head. That's quite interesting. But
there's scope for it. Like it could happen.
Yeah.
I suppose we've got to remember, like in this one, in a lot of Phase 4, it's going to be sort of refreshing the slate with new heroes and new villains and stuff. So we might be seeing Taskmaster again. We don't know.
There's a character in this who's playing Black Widow's sister, and they're saying that she's basically going to be the new Black Widow on the MCU as of now from this movie.
Okay.
But she hasn't saying that though. She hasn't been said to be casted in anything else in the future. But we'll wait and she might have a surprise pop up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
You never know, do you? Yeah.
But Thunderbolt Ross is back in it. He's the guy from Incredible Hulk and Civil War.
Yeah.
He's back in this movie, maybe chasing Natasha down, because obviously they're all on the run after Civil War, aren't they?
Yeah.
But people are also saying like that, like because he's in this movie could be a potential setup for the Thunderbolts, which is like a superhero team made out of villains. And Thunderbolt Ross is like the Nick Fury of this team, and it's like Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad in a sense.
That'd be good to see. Like it'd be like a direct, like you said, like Marvel's own way of portraying something like the Suicide Squad, and we haven't really seen that yet, have we?
No.
So, and you've got to remember, like, we might be saying it's a potential setup for the Thunderbolts, but we might not see the Thunderbolts until Phase 6, 7, or even 8. Like, they've got so much already in the pipeline, but obviously they're still like Marvel are clever, and they're obviously setting up for like 4 years down the line as well. Just how we saw it with Infinity War and Endgame, like they're clever.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They planned Infinity War and that, and like the same time they brought out Iron Man, the first movie that started the MCU.
Yeah.
So everything's planned when it comes to Marvel. We'll move on to the next one. We've got the Loki series as well, streaming on Disney Plus in May.
Yep. So this is directly from Endgame, isn't it? Where he takes the Tesseract and he escapes captivity.
Again, and spoiler warning, Loki died in Infinity War, so this is a different version of Loki in this.
Or did he die?
I think he did.
You know what Loki's like.
True.
When Loki dies, but I agree with you. I think he did. I'm just trying to throw in some.
Yeah, there's only so many times you can play off the same trick.
Yeah.
But this is, well, what we're led to believe. It's Loki from the events of Avengers 2012, but obviously in Endgame, they go back in time there to get the Tesseract.
Yeah.
And mumble jumble happens and Loki gets the Tesseract and he escapes that moment. And because of that, the TVA, which are like these time police in Marvel, they pick him up somehow and set him up on some missions or something. Something happens like that. We don't know a lot. Like, it looks really confusing if you've seen the trailer. But
I have, yeah. There's not really any explanation to what's going on. I've read about that. I've read it's like him in his own like crime thriller. But apart from that, like you said,
in the official synopsis, it says like Loki will be traveling through time, altering human history, and ending up trapped in his own crime thriller.
Yeah, but like as we say, there's not really much that's given away in the trailer. I don't know whether we're looking at it more on face value. There's probably somebody who's broke it all down and managed to find out exactly what's going on YouTube or something. But
I watched a few breakdowns after this trailer, and they put in something out that looks like the story that's going to be told through this he's going to be the reason for a lot of real life mysteries that we actually have real life, not just in the MCU. Yeah. And there's one about a guy who went onto a plane, and he basically claimed he had a bomb, and he wanted so and so amount of money, otherwise he'd blow up the plane. And so they landed the plane, got him this money, flew back off with the plane, and he apparently jumped off the plane with a parachute. And then after that, he wasn't seen at all. After that, nobody ever caught him or anything. He just disappeared. All that was found was a few like dollar bills in the water below where he jumped off the plane. So nobody knows if he died or if he literally just got away with it. And in the trailer, you see Loki in that plane.
And he gets took away by the Bifrost. And a few dollar bills float down.
Exactly. So I was like, wow, how have people caught on to stuff like that?
I was going to say, it's very, very clever. Very clever.
Yeah. But I think that'll be very, very fun to see, like, all these real life mysteries we have in this world, and Loki's the reason for all of them.
I was going to say, I'm glad he's got, like, his own little solo sort of spin-off as well. I think he's a really good character, and I don't think... With Endgame, he had a good character development, and I think he's had a decent character arc, but I still feel like we haven't really seen enough of him, if that makes sense.
I think the thing that confuses me is, like you said, he has had this character arc where he does ultimately become a good guy at the end.
Yeah.
But now we have Baddie Logo again. Baddie Loki again. That's the graphic designer in me. Baddie Loki again. So it's kind of like brushing off all that character arc, which is a bit meh at first, because I like Loki's character arc, but it's also fun that he's getting his own show. Yeah. And we do get more Loki.
Yeah, definitely. So I think next up we got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So this is a July release, hopefully.
I didn't know a lot about Shang-Chi. I had to look up a few things because I don't really know that much about him.
So I'm quite unfamiliar.
Yeah, what I found out was he's like the best fighter in Marvel's history. Like he's the greatest, and he's been known to defeat superheroes just with his skills in fighting. Yeah. So he doesn't have any powers. He doesn't have super strength or anything like that. He's just an amazing fighter. So he's kind of like Hawkeye in respect. Yeah. Like Hawkeye doesn't have any powers. He's just the best at what he does. And this is basically the same with Shang-Chi, but with Kung Fu.
Yeah.
And we know the villain in it is going to be the Mandarin.
But not the fake Mandarin.
Yeah. Obviously, we got a Mandarin in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
But he was a fake one, an actor playing the Mandarin. There was a short movie after that film where it shows Ben Kingsley's character, Trevor, who was the actor playing the Mandarin, in prison now. Yeah. And he gets called up into the prisoner's office with this guy. And have you seen it? It's like a Marvel short movie.
I think I have, yeah.
Yeah, and the guy's like, you took his name and he's not very happy about it. You're coming with us. There's obviously teasing that there is a real life Mandarin. Yeah. And he's basically the leader of that 10 Rings organization that we saw in Iron Man, like that terrorist group that kidnapped him and kept him in the cave. Yeah. And there was a guy who had a 10 Rings tattoo in Ant-Man. So like the 10 Rings have always been in the MCU. They've just been on the sidelines for now.
Yeah.
And I think now that Hydra really, that baddie organization that
They need a new
anymore. Yeah,
need a new
like
organisation
is being bought in. And
where do we think this one's going to be set? Do you reckon this will be more of a prequel or a sequel to what we've had so far?
I don't know. To be fair, and that's
again,
a good question.
We haven't really got much premise here, have we? But I'd feel like it'd be better as a prequel, because as you say, then it'll better explain the stuff that's happened in the future. But then it could equally work just as well as a sequel to what we've seen so far.
I think it'll be more or less a sequel to Iron Man in a sense, because it's taking things from the Iron Man films and putting it into this one with the 10 rings.
Yeah. And as if you were to watch them chronologically, it'd fit in nicely there, especially if you've just seen the fake Mandarin at the end of Iron Man 3.
So I think it'll probably be after Endgame. I think a lot of these will be apart from Black Widow.
Yeah.
But with the Mandarin's quite cool, to be fair. He's a really cool villain. He has these 10 rings that he found on like an alien spaceship.
Yeah.
And the alien spaceship, it crashed in China, and he got these 10 rings from out of it. And the aliens who own this spaceship and these rings basically look like dragons, how we picture dragons. And they're like the responsibility for Chinese mythology and all that for how a dragon looks.
That's pretty cool.
In the Marvel world, not in the real world. But and basically these dragons all possess their own powers, and the fallen dragons, their souls are put into these rings, and so are their powers. So the Mandarin has aspects of their powers in 10 of these rings on his hands, so he has powers of those. And
that's pretty cool.
Another villain that we could see pop up within Shang-Chi is someone called Fin Fang Foom, who I've brought up before when we were on about Shang-Chi. He's of the same race of this like dragon alien race. And that could easily set him up as a villain, maybe, or in a sequel.
We've got a lot of potential for villains here. Lots.
Yeah.
Like not just with this film. I mean, just throughout of what we've spoke about so far. Like even the Mandarin as well as a villain for the rest of it. And like you said, as a organisation, that basically fits in where Hydra's left off.
So yeah, I'm excited for it, to be fair.
And me, I'm interested to see how they do it, and where, like I said, especially where it fits in with everything. I think that's going to be that's the thing that I most want to see. Like, does it fit in after Iron Man? Is it going to fit in after Endgame? Like, where is it going to slot into the whole?
It'd be interesting to watch someone who just doesn't have any kind of powers whatsoever.
Exactly.
In a Marvel movie. So
he's not a superhero at all. He's just basically. I think that'll make him a lot more badass.
In the comics, he's meant to be an even match, but in the MCU, he definitely isn't an even match to Iron Fist. He has to be a better fighter than Iron Fist in the MCU.
Yeah, I think everybody's a better fighter than Iron Fist.
I don't know if they're still canon or not to the MCU, but God, he was awful. I hated that series. Show. I hated it. He just peed me off in the Defenders. He just did everything wrong.
He was meant to be like this mythical, almost like a god with like this fist that basically like had been passed down through generations and generations.
And it never worked.
Yeah, he always got too shy. He's like, come on, work.
Literally.
No, terrible series. You know what? It wouldn't have been such a terrible series if he wasn't such a wet wipe.
Yeah, Iron Fist is meant to be the best at martial arts as well.
Exactly.
Like, top tier. And you got beaten up by Daredevil, a blind guy.
No, it's not even that. I can't even count on my fingers how many times he got his ass kicked in the series. Like, it's unbelievable.
I hate him.
Enough. Next up, we've got What If. So we're expecting to see this in summer of this year. And this is an animated series. And this is the first animated thing on our list so far, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically taking inspiration from the Marvel comic book series, also called What If.
And it's people who don't know about that comic book series, it's basically alternate routes that the MCU could have taken.
Yeah, it's major events in the stories, and what would have happened if they occurred differently.
Yeah.
And they're doing the same thing from like the 23 movies that they've made with the characters they have out of that.
Yeah. So there'll be 23 episodes, won't there, of this?
Nah, 10 episodes.
10 episodes, sorry. Yeah.
Don't know where you got 23 from. Nah. But 10 episodes. We already know what 3 are basically going to be about. So we've got like Marvel Zombies confirmed.
Yeah.
Obviously the animated like version of Captain America fighting the Winter Soldier. We also got an alternate story about T'Challa becoming Star-Lord. So that moment where Yondu took Peter Quill from Earth instead of Peter Quill, he would have took T'Challa instead, and he would grow up to become Star-Lord. Yeah. And we've got Peggy Carter taking the Super Soldier Serum instead of Steve Rogers.
Yeah. So I think they're definitely one to watch. Like, even though they're animated and they're not actually like live action films, I think they're going to be, like I said, something to keep an eye on. It'll be good to see how things would have been different, as you say, in situations like that. And like you said, I'm curious to see what else they do in the other 7 episodes that we haven't had any information on yet.
I'm trying to think what could occur differently that would be interesting in the MCU that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, there's endless possibilities, really, isn't there? Endless. But
they could easily make a lot of different seasons of this.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if it is successful, I definitely think they will do it.
Yeah, definitely. Because with the other ones, these other shows, they're more standalone, I think, in my opinion. I don't think we'll really get a second season for them. Maybe Loki, but because I think they're just going to work chronologically with the movies and work with the storytelling of them. But with the What If, it's not connected to anything. It's all their own stories.
It's kind of its own, like you said, it's its own standalone series on its own. So, yeah, I definitely think we could get a couple of series of this. And as I said, there's endless possibilities, really, of different things that could have gone differently in the films that they could slightly alter.
It's one of my top ones that I'm excited for the most.
Yeah.
And it's going to be narrated by the Watcher, the character who we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, remember? Where Stanley was chatting to him. And he's going to be voiced by the guy who's playing Jim Gordon in the new Batman with Robert Pattinson.
We've got another DC/Marvel traitor.
Oh, yeah.
Starring in a few films. That will be, I think that'll be the one to watch. Like I said, it's especially for the fact that it's going to have potential of having more than one season as well.
Well, it's basically got the whole cast of the MCU apart from Tom Holland in it.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's going to be an episode involving every character we've seen so far in the MCU.
So could we see an alternate version of Infinity War Endgame, or
Yeah. You know? We could see a moment where maybe Thanos won at the end of Endgame.
Yeah.
And see how that plays out.
And how I suppose we saw a glimpse of that, didn't we, when it was sort of start of Endgame, where it was actually that he'd wiped out half, but it'd be interesting to go further than that and see.
But at the end of Endgame, he decided to just wipe out everything, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because obviously he was like, oh, you're not grateful, I will strip this world of its last atom, so they'll have no knowledge of the last one.
So he basically just kills everyone, and then he's just chilling by himself, I suppose, making a new...
Well, he's Josh Brolin is confirmed in the cast for What If, so Thanos is popping up at some point in one of these stories. We'll move on to the next one, Hawkeye, in late 2021.
This one, I'm not really sure. I've got low expectations. In all honesty, I've got low expectations. Hawkeye is not my favourite character. He's a bit lame, in my opinion. So I'm hoping, in all fairness, right? I think he has, and I think he kind of got saved when he was this badass with a sword and he was going around killing everybody. But as a character with the bow and arrow that I know him as before that, I don't know. I've got low expectations, but I'm hoping this kind of makes me look at him in a better light and not as lame as I think he is. But I think this is going to be a setup for the Young Avengers. So we're going to see, I think her name's Kate Bishop, which will basically take the mantle of Hawkeye from Clint.
Yeah, so, if he passes it on, he might still be Hawkeye after this movie, and
we don't know, do we? Yeah,
but that's basically what happens in comics, more or less. Like Kate Bishop takes on the role as Hawkeye, and she becomes part of the Young Avengers, which looks like what the MCU is building towards. Obviously, we got Cassie Lang, who takes over the Ant-Man role. Who does she become now? Because she doesn't call herself Ant-Man, obviously. It's a girl. Yeah. I forgot what she calls herself, but she takes over that role. And
again, we're setting up here for phase 6, 7, 8, 9 into the future.
Exactly, and we've had the two twins as well in WandaVision. They're Young Avengers. Yeah, that's two more. You got Spider-Man. He's young anyway. Like he can easily be even a leader of the Young Avengers.
Yeah. There's one more that I can't think of off the top of my head. It's the girl that makes her own Iron Man suit.
Ironheart.
Yes, I think she's a Young Avenger as well in the comics.
Yeah. So, she is. And who else is a Young Avenger? Miss Marvel, which swiftly moves us on, to the next show.
Lovely. So this one, I think anybody who's played the Avengers game will know her as the person who can make her hands massive and punch people with these massive fists.
Yeah, it's Kamala Khan. Yeah. First, like, the Indian American superhero.
Yeah. So for a film of firsts, basically, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think she's probably going to be the youngest Marvel hero we will have seen yet, to be fair, like on their own show.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she'll already have her powers or she'll get them in this show, but like she has inspiration from Captain Marvel. We've seen this in a featurette where she has a Captain Marvel poster in her bedroom and it inspires her own costume.
Yeah, and, it's quite a similar style, isn't it? The outfit.
Yeah, and she will be appearing again in Captain Marvel 2 in the next phase.
Yeah,
and that'll be alongside obviously Brie Larson as Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau, who we're seeing in WandaVision at the minute.
Potentially as Photon. Potentially,
yeah. I think it's more or less confirmed. Like, I've been teasing this whole your cells are mutating and everything.
If you go in again, it's gonna fuck them up. Or, yeah. But I think that'd be nice to see. So next up, we've got the Eternals. So this is coming out in November. Again, something brand new to the MCU, really, isn't it?
Yeah. It's basically about a race of immortal beings who lived on Earth, shaping its history and civilizations. I did not just read that off my screen, but they were basically created by Celestials, who are these big, giant, powerful people. And
we've seen Celestials. I was going to say we've seen Celestials before, haven't we? So Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy is a Celestial, isn't he?
Yeah. So, I don't know who the Eternals are. I don't know a lot about them. I just know that they're these immortal superheroes. They've been in hiding in the shadows for whatever reason as the MCU has gone on. And there's a new threat called the Deviants, and it's had to force them to come out of the shadows and fight these like ancient enemies. And that's all Marvel has told us.
And I think we had this discussion back in the first episode. We don't really know where they've been throughout the rest of the Earth's events, whether they're part of a different universe or what. So, again, not much really to say on this one.
But I don't see how nothing else has popped up for them not to come out of the shadows. We had the snap in Infinity War. We had New York.
Civil War. Yeah,
Age of Ultron. We even had Doctor Strange with Dormammu. I'm pretty sure we've had other things as well, but I can't think of it.
There's plenty of times where there would have been awoken by by events that have happened.
A big threat.
Yeah, so we don't know. Maybe they was waiting for the Deviants to come out.
Maybe.
We'll have to wait and see what happens with this one.
Yeah.
So.
I don't want to say anything in case everybody calls me out of being wrong, because I don't know a lot about the Eternals.
I'm excited to see what happens with it. That's all. I think that's best way to leave it. Spider-Man 3, December the 17th. This year.
Yeah. There's been no confirmed name or plot.
Still no title, still no plot.
All we've had is
couple of casting information.
Yeah, we've had Jamie Foxx confirmed to be back as Electro, and even Alfred Molina back as Dr. Octopus, where this gives people the impression that this is going to be a massive multiverse movie.
Yeah.
Because Alfred Molina, he was the Doc Ock in the Sam Raimi version of Spider-Man movies, like the first Spider-Man movies we ever saw with Tobey Maguire, and Jamie Foxx was the Electro in the Andrew Garfield, the Amazing Spider-Man movies. So you wouldn't cast them in those same roles from different like versions of Spider-Man for this not to be some kind of multiverse movie. And also Doctor Strange is in this movie. I wonder what for. Oh, the multiverse.
Right before a film which is called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, which is also being directed by Sam Raimi, the guy who directed the first Spider-Man films.
So we're not just getting a multiverse in the actual MCU, we're getting a multiverse with the directors as well.
Yeah.
That's in from different universes and timelines.
Yeah. Tom Holland has said this is like the most ambitious solo superhero movie of all time.
Yeah. So, return of Toby and Andrew as their Spider-Mans.
It's a potential. And we could, they've always gone with the titles. With the titles of these films, they've always had home in it somewhere. So you had Homecoming, Far From Home. You could get away with the title of this being something like Home Invasion or Home Worlds, like linking to these characters being from different worlds and invading a new one.
Yeah. Just an idea. Do you reckon we've got no name or no plot because they don't want to give too much away? Because I think if anything, like they didn't reveal
Endgame's title till later because it was a spoiler.
Exactly. So that's what's making me think, because I think it's the only one we've come across so far that's had absolutely nothing. Like, we haven't got any comics to refer to similar, like that we've got the Eternals or Miss Marvel, or we haven't got any information really apart from a few castings, and they're already teasers to a multiverse. So, and I think if they were to do this was to kick off the whole multiverse idea. Obviously it's been teased before, but if it was the first one, especially with the Doctor Strange thing, it makes sense with the whole fact that Spider-Man and your Miles Morales kind of stuff is kind of teased and played and toyed with it already. So I reckon it's the film to do it.
I wonder if they'll introduce Miles Morales with this Spider-Man. Because, you've got the guy, forgot his name, but he's like the character who plays the Prowler, that villain.
Yeah.
And he's in Homecoming where he webs his hand to the car boot.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you can't leave me here. I've got a nephew at home waiting for his ice cream. And then there's a deleted scene of him calling his nephew, and his nephew is Miles. Let's say his nephew Miles didn't get blimped, and he's now 5 years older, or 6 or 7 years older, whichever year this film is set in. He could be the right age now to be Miles Morales.
And play that Spider-Man
and become Miles Morales. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting, yeah. Again, though, because it's only been done animated, we can't really speculate over castings or who's been casted for this one. So again, there's more than possible for us to see. Could we see 4 Spider-Men? Or more than 4 in one movie?
Well, Tom Holland has said like he would love for his version of Spider-Man to interact with Miles Morales in a movie or some kind of way.
Yeah. So,
and we all know Tom Holland is absolutely rubbish with keeping secrets. I wonder if he just said that accidentally because he knows it's going to happen.
Yeah, he said it, and then he's basically an unintentional teaser.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I said before, though, after this film, we've got Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
So, any idea what this Doctor Strange film's going to be about?
It's taking place after the events of WandaVision. Whatever might happen in that, we're not too sure yet. We're only at episode 7.
Yeah.
And it's going to have some influence from Spider-Man 3 as well.
Yeah.
And because he is in that movie as well. And like I said before, it's going to be directed by Sam Raimi. After Scott Derrickson, the director of the first one, he stepped down because of creative differences he had with Marvel. I think it was a mutual thing. I think he just stepped away from the project and it got passed to Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
And but before he did leave the project, when he was originally still going to be the director of this, he did tease on his Twitter that Nightmare would show up in this movie. He's like he's a villain from the Nightmare realm in like Marvel, and that he's basically like the Freddy Krueger of Marvel. Like he defeats some people's nightmares and fears.
Are we going to see a horror aspect to this movie, do you think?
Yeah, they've said like this is going to be like the first scary MCU movie.
Okay.
Still going to be PG-13 though, but they've said like this is how they're.
How much of a horror it'll actually be, or how scary it'll actually be with the PG rating. So
they are advertising this as like the first scary MCU movie, and getting Sam Raimi on board to direct, it makes me think it is going to be that, because Sam Raimi, before he directed Spider-Man, he was a horror movie director. Yeah, he directed The Evil Dead and those movies.
Yeah, so his creative expertise is in the right area with, like you said, his past in horror movies. Yeah. So yeah, definitely.
He did the most recent Grudge reboot as well. So he makes sense as a director if they're going for a scary movie with this. And like he's also done superhero movies, so he's literally the perfect match for this movie.
For another one of Marvel's basically hybrid genre movies.
Yeah, and there's been casting rumours for this film.
Yeah.
People are rumouring Tom Cruise being casted in this movie, saying that he will be playing like an alternate version of Tony Stark in a different reality. Because originally, before Robert Downey Jr. got the job, he was meant to play Iron Man. I think that'd be so funny if Marvel did that.
I think it'd be great, and I think I think they have more than the potential to do it. And I think, like you said, we're going to see a lot of that. I think we're going to see a lot of people who were sort of close seconds to get in the roles.
Yeah.
Eventually being actually in the MCU as the character that there was first, as they were first trying to audition for, but in a different universe.
Well, with this new contract that Chris Evans has apparently done for Captain America with Marvel, we could maybe see him in a different reality, Captain America, maybe as a Hydra Captain America.
Yeah.
So an evil Captain America in a way. So it's loads of things, like John Krasinski. He was originally going to be Captain America before Chris Evans was. Maybe see he's already, like, it's already been confirmed that he's had meetings with Marvel, but it hasn't been confirmed what for. I know a lot of people want him to be Reed Richards for the Fantastic Four though.
Yeah. And that's another interesting one. That's coming phase 5, isn't it? Fantastic Four. We've got a confirmed Fantastic Four film coming.
Yeah, we'll finish with the movie that's finishing phase 4 as we know it, and that's Thor: Love and Thunder.
So I really enjoyed Thor 3, not so much Thor 2. Really enjoyed Thor 1. So this trilogy so far, ups and downs, but I've enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to the 4th one. I think filming started recently on this film, and we've had a couple of teaser photos, haven't we, of the sets?
Yeah, they've started filming in Sydney, Australia, and Taika Waititi, he's back directing. He directed the 3rd one. he basically revived Thor as a character.
Yeah, after
And
the poor show Dark World. Yeah.
Yeah, he need like that character needed it.
Yeah.
And they're basically turning Thor movies into comedy movies, but it works perfectly.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
You have the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're going to be taking part in this film as well, because obviously they left off Endgame of Thor with the Guardians of the Galaxy. So this is going to be taking place straight from Endgame. And Jane Foster, played by Natalie Portman, she will be coming back and will be playing the female Thor in this movie. And she's been officially announced, actually, that her character is going to be called Mighty Thor. Take that as you will.
Is that a comic reference or what?
I'm not too sure of the backstory of Jane Foster being Thor in the comics. I know she gets cancer, and the powers of Thor get given to her, so she basically doesn't die of her cancer, basically.
Yeah.
Which could be a nice story in this, maybe, of Thor passing on the mantle of Thor to Jane.
Yeah.
As his love interest who's dying. But whether they do that, I'm not sure.
No, it'd be interesting to see how, if she is to be the female Thor, or as you said, like the mighty Thor, how she will get her powers. Like you said, there's obviously the comic books, and a lot of the stuff is based on that, but obviously still we get a bit of deviation from the comics, and there's a bit of creative direction from the directors and stuff.
I think the powers of Thor, even though Thor has them anyway without Mjolnir, Captain America only got the lightning powers because he wielded Mjolnir. If Mjolnir comes back in some kind of way in this film, I reckon she'd get her powers from being able to wield Mjolnir.
Basically by being worthy.
Yeah, the same way Cap did. But there's a problem with that. We don't have any Mjolnir in this universe. Captain America took it back when he went back to take the stones.
So do we get one from a different universe?
So I mean, do we get that big dwarf make us a new Mjolnir or something?
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't lose the handle this time.
Needs the axe. Where's the handle? But as you said, the Guardians of the Galaxy are in this as well. We've got Korg and Valkyrie returning. This has got a lot of characters in, a lot of heroes.
Yeah,
like a hell of a lot.
Another Avengers film.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, and that it's probably, I'd say it's probably one of the biggest in like a solo film. So obviously we've had Captain America: Civil War, and we've had quite a big one there. But I think in terms of like another solo film, I think this is a close second, especially if we end up seeing Jane Foster as well being the mighty Thor by the end or the start. Or
there's a potential of Loki maybe popping up in this. We don't know yet.
Yeah,
I can imagine if he is to pop up on this, they wouldn't announce it yet because obviously the TV show hasn't come out yet, so it'd be a spoiler. But and again, potential he could.
We've got the fact that we say he died at the end of Endgame, or so to speak, and this is obviously set after because we're leaving. We've got the Guardians of the Galaxy as part of the crew, so which is where Endgame sort of left off with him.
Yeah, so, and the ex-Batman, Christian Bale, who played Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy. He's playing the villain Gore the God Butcher, which is a character I think who basically hates gods, like the living gods, so like Loki, Odin, Thor, those kind of gods.
So he's basically fitted to this film perfectly. He's the perfect.
He basically blames the gods for killing his loved ones, whether it's his family or his world or something. Yeah. And he goes on a journey of killing the gods, and he gets the name Gore the God Butcher.
Okay.
As far as a story.
I was going to say, apart from that, there's not much of a plot line here, is there?
I'm expecting it to be hilarious, like Ragnarok again.
Yeah, especially with the fact that they've added in Guardians of the Galaxy as well. They're already funny films. We've got Thor Ragnarok, which is a funny film. Combine them, especially with like your interactions between Peter Quill or Star-Lord and Korg and Thor and all these different people and Groot, and we've got loads of interactions that are going to just be hilarious. So
yeah, I reckon we'll see a sort of like love and hate relationship between Star-Lord and Thor, because at the end of Endgame, where they are arguing with each other on who the boss is and all that.
Yeah, there was a bit of jokey tension, wasn't there? Yeah.
We're going to have some funny, friendly banter between those two characters, which I'm looking forward for.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think, like I said, the fact that we've got the same director as Ragnarok as well, I think it'd be a really good one. And I think that'll nicely finish off Phase 4.
Yeah, and that will nicely finish off this podcast episode as well. I don't think there's much else to talk about.
I got one more question, just one more. Out of all the things we've discussed, what are you saying most looking forward to?
Oh, out of all these movies, that's a really good question.
So from Phase 4, give me your top 3 if it's hard for you first.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do a top 3. WandaVision would have been one of them, but we're already watching WandaVision now, so we're kind of already seeing it. Yeah. So I'll exclude WandaVision. But for a top 3 of what's left, it would have to be Doctor Strange 2, Spider-Man 3, and Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, mine's similar.
Those are my top 3.
Doctor Strange, purely because the first one was one of my favourite Marvel films I've ever watched. Thor: Love and Thunder, and I'm going to say the What If series.
Oh yeah,
I'm just interested to see how they go about that and do that, and basically how the MCU could have gone a completely different tangent to what it's already done. Not saying it is hard. It is hard to pick a top 3 because, being the fact that we're such nerds over stuff like this, we're looking forward to all of it. But in particular, I think those 3.
They're my big ones.
Yeah. As you say, I think that wraps it up nicely apart from that. So that was
where we talk about Phase 5.
Yep, that was Phase 4. We'll do Phase 5.
That's not everything of Marvel yet, believe it or not. We've still got loads more to talk about.
We probably spoke for a good hour, and that's not even half of it. So
literally,
there is still more.
Yeah, so make sure you're following us on Instagram, Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube, and you're tuned in for when that comes out.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched any of the past episodes, get on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube. Episodes 1 to 4 will be on there. Thank you very much, and tune in next week.
I'm recording. We'll edit that bit out, but yeah.
Puts his sweets to the side, you know.